Salutations, utopians. Hope all is well in your world, man. Man, we've had a lot of basketball headlines in a short amount of time. So much going on. Caitlin Clark keep on steamrolling. She's getting better every day. Uh, Ty Lue just announced he's re-signing with the LA Clippers. Minnesota Timberwolves avoid elimination on the road. Anthony Edwards damn near triple double last night, 1 assist shy. Went out there with a Herculean like performance. Got more rebounds than his front line. That's another discussion. But want to talk about this Gordon Hayward thing, man. Gordon Hayward is very dear to my heart, man. Watched the dude in college. What I was so impressed with Gordon was how much I'm a big fan of just progress, no matter how big or small. Progress to me is just one of the dopest things in life. And Gordon is a dude, he was the ninth pick of the Utah Jazz, and every year he did something better when he was in Utah, until he hit the crescendo of his career in 2017 and became a free agent. But to add some more context, it's not just on the court, which Gordon became one of the more prolific three-level scorers in the game. He also physically had a body transformation as a person who does work out. As a casual, he had one of the greatest progressions we've seen in the gym since probably you could only say few could rival, maybe like Giannis. Okay, that extreme. The guy really worked hard. And 2017, he was nominated to the All-Star team, which was the ultimate. He pretty much was Donovan Mitchell in Utah. What you're seeing from Donovan Mitchell was who Gordon Hayward was, and I wish they were able to have been teammates, man, because Quinn Snyder was coaching his ass off. There's no other way to put it. I try not to curse, but Quinn Snyder, I remember one playoff series, I'm watching the dude, all his substitutions were on point. He knew where to put people. Like Quinn Snyder at the peak of his career in Utah, they truly did push their potential to the max. They really did everything they possibly could. When it was finally just time to blow that team up because, Rudy was limited. They just had maxed out. There wasn't any more moves to make. Sometimes you just hit the peak and you got to know when to rebuild and restock. And so he went to Boston. And the thing with Boston was, and this is, man, I didn't even think I was going to get this in depth with this conversation. But him going to Boston almost ironically, stunted the growth of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They were wet behind the ears, young kids, green, relatively green, no pun intended. And, at the time, who's now ironically, I'm forgetting his name. He's now the GM. He's now president of op in Utah, Danny Ainge, signed Gordon Hayward to reunite him with his coach from Butler, Brad Stevens. And I'm going to tell you, man, to this day, it's like raising a kid. I know that there's certain names you're not supposed to speak on, and ironically, that's what this is about. But I'm not just openly throwing hate for no reason. I'm very scientific for why I'm saying what I'm saying. Make no mistake, I have no personal grudges against nobody. I'm a basketball purist first and foremost, okay? I don't I don't care. I don't play popularity game. If you want, yes, man, if you want people around you, I do it respectfully, it's scientific. I make sure when I take the leap of faith, because I know there's certain people you just shouldn't speak on. Best believe I'm coming from a place of science and love. It's never personal hate. I don't have a reason to hate on nobody. I'm very comfortable with me. I know where I've been, and I'm not concerned about where I'm going. And so that makes me limitless because I'm very comfortable with my story. I really am. So let me get to it. I really do feel like Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens almost risked Jaylen Brown and compromised Jaylen Brown. And that's why you see some of this soft behavior you see from Tatum sometimes. He needed an old school coach like Rick Pitino. And you start seeing the traces and the fragments of it in his game sometimes where it's like, damn, how he started them first couple years, it shows in his play sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes he needed a Larry Brown, like Larry Brown was to Allen Iverson, who was trending yesterday. You need that old school, mean demeanor type coach who doesn't give a damn whether you like him or not, right? And unfortunately, you could see it, but they went and signed Gordon Hayward, reuniting him with Brad Stevens. And I'm not going to lie, I till this day don't understand what qualified Brad Stevens. And even now, he won Executive of the Year. And I'm like, bro, all they did was outspend everyone. You're a second apron team. So, like, no disrespect, but what's wrong with you if you don't see why I have a problem with this? You know, this whole operation. But with that being said, Gordon went there with Kyrie, and Kyrie threw a bad lob and it tore his leg up. And people act like I forgot. It was one of the most gruesome injuries in sports. But I'm like, you know what happened to Kyrie? But yeah, it was like he should have never went there to begin with. He had other offers. Stay in Utah, go to Miami. A lot of different stuff could have happened. You know, I know he was at a point in his career, he's in his prime. They're going to go through an aggressive rebuild. Okay, cool, leave Utah. Even though he had what it took to be a lifer, I understand the timelines didn't match. A lot goes into being a lifer and having that Kobe legacy, that Dirk legacy stamp. But that acquisition almost stunted what we have today. And you see Danny Ainge, I think Danny gets away with a lot of the trades he does because of his rich history with the Celtics, one of two of the most decorated franchises in all of sports. So teams bow down. But to be honest with you, you know, that was a horrible for you. They spent money just to spend money. And they divided the locker room. It got real toxic. Kyrie may have taken on and assumed a little bit more drama on his name and more smut on his name than necessary because he also was leaving LeBron, because the media got in his head, letting them tell him that LeBron was his dad and all this other stuff. And he got all offended and he wanted to prove he was his own man and he's around Kobe. But Kyrie was never Kobe, so he didn't quite understand his ranking. At this age, he's comfortable being the 1B to Luka. And being LeBron's 1B was when he was in his best role. And you got to understand there's certain people that are just 1Bs. So I'm going to be honest with you, you know, I'm watching all this unfold and unravel. And yesterday a week before he goes and he makes comments about, I don't feel like even though his last game he played 48 minutes and just laid a donut, I just don't think I was ever a fit. Then his wife comes out and says, we told Sam Presti that we don't think he was a fit. And we don't, you know, we had already told him it wasn't going to work. And I'll admit it wasn't an ideal match. But him at 34 years old needed to understand this. If you think you were going to go scam the league, chill in Charlotte while they're preparing for the lottery, I don't know where they're drafting or if they're even drafting right now. If you thought you were going to just rack up a bunch of empty stat inflated numbers and then ask for a max contract or a big 2-year deal, you're sadly mistaken with where the CBA is going. Is there teams that could use his services? Absolutely. Was the Oklahoma City Thunder job but not the most ideal fit? Absolutely. But you're talking about Sam Presti here. As I just called out, you know, Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, you also got to be real with yourself. And this is not just because what his stature is. It's what he's done. He's drafted 3 MVPs. The man has 35 picks. Maybe less now because of the trade deadline, record number of second-round picks. The man is drafting for the league at this point. He's got so many draft picks. He's drafting for the entire NBA. What are you thinking, bro? What are you thinking? In a clear case of choose your battles wisely, you just tried to go against literally a walking machine. That man is responsible for 3 MVPs. Why would you say anything, bro? You got to know when you got to take that L and say thank you for the L you're handing me. You be gracious, because half the battle as a vet, it's like in the NFL, the backup QB dynamic. We want you nice and quiet and out the way. And when it's your turn, you step up. Somewhere down the line, Sam Darnold, you'll go get yourself another head coaching opportunity. Another starting opportunity. It happened to Porzingis. Got sent off to Washington after Luka. He could have said a lot of things about Luka. He took his L in grace in Washington, a depleted franchise. Mind you, they're in the exact same spot they were when Jordan came back for $2 million after 4-year hiatus, a 4-year retirement, just to give them a boost to their economy. Now they don't even have a stadium right now. Okay, that's the trajectory that Washington has been on. Today, as we speak, they don't even know where they're going to play at home. But Porzingis didn't go, oh, there's that, none of that. Even when he got on the podcast, he was very careful with his words. Sometimes you need to be smart. And young men, young ladies out there, when you're doing your career, there are certain people you don't speak on. As an independent sports page, even one time I worded a comment about, damn, y'all, I got the utmost respect for Sam Presti. I would never question Sam Presti. Brad Holmes is another guy. The guy in Philadelphia, Howie Roseman. There's certain dudes you just don't. Dog, they're as perfect as you get, realistically, right? But I remember saying once, I said, damn, you're going to send Chet Holmgren, a rookie, into his first season in the postseason without no veteran big man? The next day, they went and signed Bismack Biyombo. Now, I was right, but I was very careful how I worded it, even when I thought it was wrong. Because, listen, you have to be smart. It was so obvious what was going on when he went there. We know we're not the ideal fit. They're not testing to see if you could still hoop. You can go somewhere and get 10, 15 minutes for a team. There's plenty of teams that can use him. He's a 3-level scorer veteran. Hell, if Danilo Gallinari's on the Bucks, who the hell do you think Gordon Hayward is? He's got somewhere to be. Are you kidding me? There was a bunch of class of '08 graduates that were playing in the playoffs. But you, Gordon Hayward, did not size up and read the room. You're being tested to see what your temperament is like. And you know it's an L, but you be gracious. And somewhere with this high injury season league that we're in, you're going to get your chance to shine. You're going to get your moment. And as long as you excel in that moment exactly how you're supposed to, like how Alex Caruso did, G League, NBA, G League, NBA. Then he got Deuce McBride, the same thing. G League, NBA, G League, NBA. Then boom, when it was time, step in, play immaculate, keep that plus minus where it needs to be, but do it organically. And guess what? You'll stick for good. And Gordon could have gave you 3-4 more years. Now, I don't even know if you're going to be going to get a deal next year. I don't want to run that risk. You don't go stating the obvious. We know you weren't a mix in OKC. Why did you do that? And then your wife talking? And I don't know how you come back from this mistake. This was a PR nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, read the room and understand. If you're in a blatant, hopeless situation, the league knows it. All this damn analytical stuff, everyone knows. You know what? It was an experience. I'm just honored to be around such a young group. All he should have done was bring the conversation back to how amazing it was to witness a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, a Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year, all in one. OKC had an all-time historically legendary great season. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Just be glad you were in the room. And I will weigh my options. And hopefully a ringing endorsement from a Sam Presti is like damn near right. But when Sam says he don't like you, you better be KD. You better be Russ. Prime, too. I'm not talking just like, you better be great. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Out.